Hi, I'm Jeff. This is Tropical Plants at 53 degrees north. So we've had rather a number of very meticulously planned videos. It might not look meticulously planned, but believe me, that's about as meticulously planned as I can make them at this moment in time. So it's time for just a general kind of chat and a look at various things of interest in July. There's quite a lot going on, as you'd expect, in the middle of summer, even though they're tropical plants and they tend to grow all year round. In our country, even though I keep the greenhouse to certain temperatures, most of the growth still happens during the warmer months of the year because you've got the sun out as well. So it's a really nice kind of relaxed, general, off-the-cuff kind of thing. Lots of ums, ers, ahs, gaps, no doubt. And it's nice just to do something like this every so often. And surprisingly, they do really well with subscribers. They don't do quite as well in search results, as you can imagine. But, you know, it is what it is, and I think it would be really interesting to have a look at what's going on around the greenhouse. And I hope you enjoy it too. And as ever, please put as many comments as you can, because I love to hear from people, and I learn loads that way too. So, let's jump in. And we are in. Okay, it is the 3rd of July, and it's absolutely chucking it down outside, and that's great actually, because we need lots and lots of rain at this particular moment. We've had a really dry period, very warm week, even though the sun's not always been out, and the plants have benefited from it. It's very humid in here at the moment, as you'd imagine. So let's just grab hold of the little humidity thing. It's not dead on accurate, 92% humidity at the moment, but nice and warm, 18 degrees. And you can see I've got the curtains open there, the screen open, because it's above what I keep it for both sides of the greenhouse. There's tons going on, as you'd imagine, for July. I've turned all the fans off, I think, and there's quite a few things to chat about as we go round. It's Streptocarpus season, it's Bougainvillea season, it's just about everything season really, isn't it? So let's have a little look at various things. I'll start off with this. This was a real surprise to me. So this is Dendrobium farmeri. It's a species orchid. And I had it over at the back of a bench because I didn't really expect anything to happen to it for quite a number of years, in fact. And honestly, within the space of, I would say, a week, possibly 2 weeks, it grew this spike and they bloomed. And the only reason it could be 2 weeks is if I forgot to actually pick it up to water it, because I water them all once a week, all the orchids anyway. There's a lot of other plants that need watering daily, but the orchids I tend to, in general anyway, leave them once a week before I check them. And if they're not ready for a water after 1 week, then they get left for another week. And that just kind of come out of nowhere, and it's a great surprise when that happens. I've said this on a number of occasions. I think very often, especially with orchids, you kind of kill them with kindness, and I stand by the fact that the best my orchids ever looked was when I went away for a fortnight. I never touched them and came back and they look great. I was really expecting them not to. And things like the streps, they did suffer. They do need lots and lots of work. So isn't that lovely? It's kind of like a poached egg, isn't it? It's lovely. I'm really impressed with it. I don't know if it's just bear with me while I just give it a sniff. No, can't smell anything. I thought at one point I could. I mean, it might be that it just releases it at different times of the day. But I brought it to the front because it looks so nice. Really impressed with that. That's a lovely little thing. I know I did want, what are they? You know, the dawn ones, like a range of dendrobiums. I think they've got dawn. They've all got dawn, D-A-W-N, in the name. I've been after one of those for a long time, and I've never been able to get hold of one that was actually in bloom. I have this policy that I tend to want things in bloom first because I know that they're the blooming size then. I don't want something that's going to take years and years to bloom. So that's that. Now, my Mandevilla sanderi, these were the cuttings. Remember, I had 3. It's a good number of years now, a couple of years at least. So what have we got here? So 16th of November 2019. So, you know, we're not too far off. We're certainly getting on for a couple of years in a few months' time. It's taken them all that time. One of them suspiciously died off over the winter months. It lasted the first year and then died off this winter. This year it's gone crazy with blooms, but still no vining, twining stems. Well, that could be one. Actually, that could be its first vining stem. So they do need to be a certain size before they start to vine. Bougainvillea is about to bloom, and I do struggle with it still. You can see it's still not looking brilliant. It's one of those that, yeah, it drops all its leaves in winter. It doesn't like to be watered during the winter months, but then when it comes to summer months, it just suddenly, like seemingly overnight, decides that it wants absolutely tons of water on a daily basis, and I'm not giving it that, and it wilts very, very quickly. I think it's one of those that just needs a certain amount of maturity before it really kind of settles down. I mean, obviously, it's not in the best spot. It's not in the sunniest part of the greenhouse. It's not getting all that fresh air. There's a number of things, really, that make it struggle. But, I'm plodding on with it, and I will do an update video on it when it's in its full pomp. One of my begonias here, this Fuchsioides, I've cut it right back because it was just going crazy up here and I was getting in the way. So I've cut it back. That's been in bloom for ages and ages. And I don't know if I've shown you this tiny little Pelargonium here. This is a nice one, but again, the leaves are suffering a little bit through the high humidity. It really wants to be outside now, getting some fresh air. But the number of people that tell me to get them outside, I know, I understand they would do better outside. But the point of the channel is to do them all inside. Plus, I'm struggling as it is to look after them and hold down two businesses. So if I started separating them all out, then I really would struggle. They get neglected as it is, I think. So this is, if I can just about read it side on, Silver Glitter. It's a dwarf stellar Pelargonium. Very nice. And it's bizarre how it's got like these. They look like mutations, don't they, really, in the blooms there, because they don't all have a couple of pure red petals. So that's a nice little thing. This Epidendrum down here is doing exactly the same as my other Epidendrum, and it's blooming fabulously well, but it's losing a lot of leaves. A lot of them are going black. And I'm just not panicking about that now, because it happened to the one over there. Let's try and point it out. Just point it there, and they all just come back. I chop off some of the stems that look dead, and I always end up with new ones. Again, it's another one that if I neglect it seems to do better. It could be the sun. It's in a shadier position over on the right hand side of the greenhouse over there. That bit's more of a shaded position. The sun doesn't tend to come down there, and then it seems to do better for some reason. It's surprising how many different microclimates you have in such a small space. You'd expect, it's a greenhouse to say, well, a greenhouse it's south facing, the side of this whole side along here faced south, but there's other factors that come into it, like there's a garage on the other side and the sun only comes so far down, and there are big trees over here which also affects it. So there's all that comes into it. You can't say, well, this particular plant likes this particular conditions and it will be the same for everybody. You've just got to say, this is what it likes in this spot in my greenhouse, and you've got to make your own mind up as to which of that advice in inverted commas you take on board. It never is really advice. It's just, this is what works for me. It might work for you. Give it a go. These are my thoughts behind how it works, how and why it works. So it's strep season. The streps are looking okay at the moment. Some of them, they're all hybrids, obviously. Some of them, well, most of them are. Some of them are better earlier on. Like the crystal ice varieties, this blue one tends to only come really, really good later on in the season, I find. We've got some really nice ones down here. This one is gorgeous. This one is Kalahari. This is way better than it was last year. I think it struggled with like 2 blooms last year, and that was about it. 2 tiny leaves. That one's coming off. Just leave that for now. Big leaves on it there. They have, that's really nice. I should put that in a little floaty thing, shouldn't I, if I could be bothered, but I can't. Yeah, when they come from, I got mine from Dibley's, and when they come in these little tiny peat pots, and for some reason they really struggle to get out of them, struggle to get going. I don't know whether they've changed what they use. A few years ago, when I got my first lot, they really did well the first year. Not happening at the moment. Some of these are really, really small still. So this is the second year for like this one, Harlequin Dawn, and I've suddenly got one bloom. It's still only a very small plant. It's just kind of bursting out of it now. Same with this one, Harlequin Lace. This is one of my more mature ones. Looking gorgeous, all looking gorgeous. That's quite new. I don't remember that one. That looks almost, what's that one? Falling Stars. I don't think I've seen that bloom before. And you've seen most of these, I think. Bethan, looking really nice. There is a species of here, Saxorum. That has had a few blooms on it, but they've kind of gone over now. Yeah, this is a Streptocarpus. I know it doesn't look anything like one, but I was advised that it looks better hanging in a basket, so I've got it hanging in a basket. Some nice new little shoots coming down there. So that's a species strep. Another species strep over here, Dunnii, unifoliate. I'm looking forward to that coming. And look at this. So this is, I always forget this one, Renanthera citrina crossed with Monachia. So this is only its second blooming for me. It missed blooming entirely last year, probably because I kept it in the warmer side. Even though it's a Renanthera, this one is a Himalayan one, and one of the rare. We had a chat in the comments about rare. I know that, I think, yeah, the word does tend to be overused, especially on eBay. There does seem to be one particular seller who uses it for every single plant. Although I do have a little bit of sympathy with them, with a business head on. I understand why they do that. I think they possibly do it because it makes it really easy to know whether it's one of their own particular plants. People just get to know that if it says rare, whatever, then it's going to be one of theirs. But anyway, regardless, what your thoughts on a plant being labelled as rare? If it's really rare, then I guess it wouldn't be for sale on eBay, would it? Well, that's a really nice thing, isn't it? I'm really pleased with that. Shame it doesn't have a scent. I'll just check. No, it doesn't have a scent, or I can't smell anything, can't detect anything. But that's a really nice plant. While we're next to it there, my Oncidium Twinkle Cinnamon is coming back. It does seem to enjoy the coconut husks better than it enjoyed or didn't enjoy being mounted. I know, I think Roger has lots of success with the mounted ones, but I didn't. But this one is coming back, I'm pleased to say, because I love the twinkles. And unlike some of those that I showed you in the failure video, these I can see are going to go to like substantial sizes. I don't think they'll bloom this coming winter, but I don't mind. At least it will come back eventually for me. So what else have we got? This little fern down here, Pteris cretica. I almost lost it because it got like a really horrendous bad case of scale insect. And I did manage to catch it in the end, and we washed everything off, but it was too late. It just really didn't like it. So I chopped it right down to the base, and that seems to have killed off any remaining scale insect, and it's come back for me, so I'm quite pleased about that. I did have another fern, another Pteris. Can't remember which one it was, but that didn't survive. It did the same thing, got loads of scale on it, and eventually it gave up. So, you know, you get your successes, you get your failures. Another nice little Pelargonium species there. Dendrobium nobile pollen, star class of pollen, just keeps on coming and coming and coming with these blooms. It's like never ending. Definitely the biggest orchid I've got. Little bit of trouble with this Nepenthes. So this is Nepenthes gaea. Just basically because I moved it and it dried out again. I left it, I think I left it a day or two, and because it's higher up in the greenhouse. I only moved it because I've got this Gloriosa lily from last year, which didn't bloom last year, and there's two in there, and that one down there doesn't seem to be doing anything, but this one, hopefully, will bloom. I don't know if that's, no, it just still feels like a twining shoot, twining stem. So this is where I had the Nepenthes, so I'm hoping to get that back there eventually, but I'm hoping to get some blooms on this Gloriosa lily. Now, I don't know if you can see how sparkly these are looking at the moment, these drosera. This one looks really, really nice. This is another one that needs the hanging basket treatment. It looks very similar. This is Drosera dichotoma giant, but it does look very similar to this other one that I've got hanging up here. Again, I forget this one, Binata variety multifida. It seems to be quite happy hanging there. The Nepenthes Burkii come back into full picture. That's fine. It had no pictures at all about a month and a half ago, but it seems to be quite happy there. So what else can we show you over here? A couple more, or three more pelargoniums. That one's going over. There's a few that need deadheading. We've got loads of spikes coming. We've got the Sherry Baby, another little pelargonium looking really nice there. You've seen that if you saw my last video. That pelargonium over there seems to be getting whatever the disease it had when I initially took a cutting of it, because it was getting this disease. There's something wrong with it, with these these yellow leaves on it, and I don't know what it is. I'm going to have to cut that right back again, see if we can eradicate it, because the cutting was fine, and it's been fine for another year, and then it seems to have, whatever it is, it's going the same way. Couple of nice big spikes on that Sherry Baby down there. I mean, look how many spikes I've got on my Dracula Chimera down there. Since I put it down there, it seems quite happy. There must be a dozen spikes on it, but yeah, they're very, very slow at producing any of those fabulous blooms.